Assalamu alaikum. Dear learners, I hope you are safe and sound. Today I am going to talk about level sensors. I have divided the whole topic into two separate videos that are covering two broad categories of level sensors. So without any delay, let's see that what these two categories are and talk about one of them in this video and the other one in the next. Before starting any technical discussion, let me make it clear that what level sensors are going to sense and why do we need this kind of sensing. What level represents is quite straightforward because we are using this word and concept quite often in our everyday lives. Simply, it's the height above a defined minimum. For example, level of water in a bottle, or level of a chemical in a test tube, or level of petrol in your car's tank. Level sensing is in fact a reasonable alternate of measurement of mass or quantity of any liquid or sometimes solids in powdered form. For example, when you are filling a glass of water, you are approximating the quantity of water in the glass by monitoring its level. Or on the other hand, if you are filling your car's tank with petrol, then the indicator in your car's dashboard shows the level of petrol present in the tank instead of exact amount of petrol. Furthermore, the water level in the reservoir of any dam approximately shows the amount of water which we have as a reserve. Or if I talk about any example from chemistry, then whenever a chemist or anyone involved wants to measure the amount of a particular liquid that can be an acid or a base or any other kind of chemical, then the mass or the amount of that chemical is measured using level of that chemical in scaled containers or tubes. You can think of a number of examples where exact amount or quantity of material is not measured, but it is estimated or found through the level of that material in a particular container. Particularly in industries, the level of some stored liquid will give a reasonable idea of the amount or the quantity that we have in a particular container. Normally, this measurement is made on large tanks, which are used for storage purposes. Therefore, exact amount of liquid or material present in the storage tank is sometimes not required. However, a good approximation is what we are looking for. So now that we have a clear understanding that what level sensors are going to sense, we can discuss various kind of instruments that can perform this sensing. For this particular discussion, I have divided the whole lecture into two portions. In this video, I'm going to discuss only contact type level sensors, whereas in the next one, I'll explain the contactless level sensors. So let's move on and see what kind of contact type level sensors are there and how they sense or how they perform their working. Starting with the simplest of the sensors, these sensors have poorest accuracy and resolution but are the cheapest ones available. As I have already said in the preamble, that level sensing is in fact used for approximating the quantity of the involved fluid. Therefore, in applications where a rough estimate is enough, sensors with low accuracy and resolution are good enough. The first sensor that I'm going to talk about is the cheapest and simplest of all. It is called a dipstick. By the name you can figure out you have to dip it in the liquid till it hit a particular level and then see the length of this stick that has been wetted by the liquid to know the level of it. The stick obviously requires human intervention for lowering it into the liquid and then taking the reading. The simplest form is called an ordinary dipstick that is normally made of a metal and has a scale drawn on it. In some situations, the stick is lowered into the liquid until it hits the bottom or a particular level, and then the scale is used to figure out the level of the liquid. Whereas sometimes it is fixed on a side of a container and level is read directly from the scale. All of you who regularly check the mobil oil level in your automobile's engine must have used dipstick to check the level of mobil oil. Or you might have seen some news on the TV showing the water level in the reservoir of some dam, which is used for warning people of a possible fluid. In situations where lowering and reading the scale of this dipstick is not possible or is dangerous, a bit modified version is utilized. This version is called optical dipstick that works like a dual periscope. A periscope is a device normally used by the staff of a submarine to see above the submarine from inside of it. The schematic shows how an optical dipstick works. There are four reflective surfaces so that light from the source is reflected in the shown path and received by the receiver. Using a suitable mechanism, the dipstick is lowered into the container to a point where the detector doesn't receive any reflection. This will happen when the lower reflecting surfaces are submerged into the liquid. At this point, the amount of lowering of the dipstick will represent the level of the liquid present in the container. Moving on, the next type of level sensors that I use to get a rough estimate of the level of the liquid present in any container utilizes float in various configurations. One such configuration is shown over here. The level of the liquid in the container will cause the float to rise and hence the attached pointer to move on a variable resistor. The pointer movement will definitely going to change the output voltage of this potentiometer, and hence this output voltage is going to represent the level of the liquid present in the container. In another configuration, the float is hanged through a string, and the string, after going over some pulleys, is attached to a counterweight. As the liquid level rises, the float rises and the counterweight lowers. Whereas if the level of the liquid is lowered, the weight of the float is enough to pull up the counterweight. As this movement happens, the amount of rotation of the pulley can be measured through any rotational displacement sensor, which we already have discussed. And then this rotational displacement will tell us the level of the liquid present in the container. Dip strips and float type systems gives a rough estimate of level of the liquid in any container, whereas in applications where a more accurate measure of level is required, we have to resort to some other kind of devices. So let us see that how we can use various devices for a better level measurement. One such class of devices utilizes pressure sensing to measure the level of the liquid in a container. In case of open tanks, pressure at the bottom is directly proportional to the height of the liquid present in the container. Therefore, using this relation where h represents the height of the liquid in the container, p represents the pressure which the liquid is exerting at the bottom, rho represents density of the fluid, and g represents gravitational acceleration, can be used to figure out the height of the liquid in this container. To use this formula for level measurement, we require two things. The first one is the pressure that will obviously come from the pressure sensor installed at the bottom of the container. And the second thing is the density of the liquid. Measurement of density can be particularly sometimes problematic because it depends highly on the temperature of the liquid and also on the presence of contaminations in the liquid. Therefore, the only problem with this kind of level sensor is that it is quite difficult to get the exact value of the liquid's density. In case where the containers are closed, a single pressure reading at the bottom will not give us the pressure which the liquid is exerting. Therefore, we need a differential pressure transducer that can sense the difference of pressure between the top and the bottom of the tank. Once again, we can use a similar formula to figure out the level of the liquid present in the container. Apart from the problem of figuring out the true value of the density of the liquid present in the container, another problem associated with these kind of setups is of leakage from the taps made at the bottom for pressure sensing. Setup known as bubbler unit can completely take care of the leakage problem at the bottom of the tank. This unit doesn't require any taps to be made at the bottom. In the shown schematic, you can see that the taps are made on the top of the tank if it is a sealed one, and if it is an open tank, then no tap is required. What happens over here is that an inert gas is supplied from this side and its pressure is increased unless we start seeing bubbles rising in the liquid. When this is happening, it means that the gas is escaping from the pipe at the bottom of the liquid and rising up in the liquid in form of bubbles. This will only happen when the pressure of the gas is equal to the pressure of the liquid at the bottom of the tank. If the pressure of the gas is less than the pressure of the liquid, then obviously liquid will rise into the channel and will not allow the gas to come out of this channel to produce bubbles. Whereas if the pressure of the gas is more than the pressure of the liquid at the bottom, then this gas will push out the liquid from this channel and will escape in form of bubbles. At this point, the differential pressure transducer will give the pressure difference between the bottom of the tank and the top side. The next type of devices that I will talk about utilize capacitors dipped into the liquid to sense the level. These devices are particularly useful if the level of powdered solids needs to be measured. However, if contaminations and moisture can change the dielectric properties of the material whose level is to be measured, then these devices will be of no use. The main advantage of capacitive type level sensors is the range of liquids whose level can be sensed by these sensors. You can use these sensors not only just at high temperatures and pressures, but also at very low temperatures. Moreover, you can also use these sensors quite easily with corrosive fluids. If the involved liquid has negligible conductivity, then two bare metal plates or concentric pipes can be inserted into the liquid to perform the level sensing. However, if the involved liquid is conductive, then these plates can be coated with suitable insulators. The height of the liquid between the two metal plates will dictate the overall dielectric of this capacitor and hence the overall capacitance. By monitoring the change in capacitance, we can easily figure out the level of the liquid between the plates. Pressure type and capacitive type level sensors both have reasonable measurement uncertainties that range from 1 to 2% of the full scale reading, whereas dip strips and flow type systems can have measurement uncertainties as high as up to 10% of full scale reading. Moving on, another very interesting level sensor is called a vibrating level sensor. It consists of a hollow metallic tube that contains piezoelectric oscillators in it. These crystals are used to oscillate the tube at its resonant frequency. However, if the tube is immersed into the liquid, then the depth to which the tube is immersed will dictate the resonant frequency of the tube. Now the excitation frequency of the piezoelectric oscillator is adjusted until the tube vibrates at its changed resonant frequency. At this point, the excitation frequency can be related to the depth of the liquid to which the tube has been immersed. The last contact type level sensor that I am going to discuss utilizes hot wire elements or carbon resistors that are installed on one side of the container. The elements which are immersed into the liquid will have different heat transfer coefficient and hence would have a different temperature than those which are not immersed into the liquid. The resistance of the hot wire element or the carbon resistor is directly proportional to its temperature, as these devices are PTC devices, that is positive temperature coefficient devices. Just as a reminder, the positive temperature coefficient devices are the devices whose resistance increases as their temperature increases. So the elements which are submerged into the liquid will have a different temperature and hence a different resistance. Measuring this resistance will give us the level of the liquid present in the container. You can easily see that the resolution of this kind of setup is dependent on the number of hot wire elements or carbon resistors that are installed in the container. In practice, such setups are quite simple and cheap, utilizing adequately spaced hot wire elements, hence giving a poor resolution of level sensing. So, dear learners, this is everything I have to talk about contact type level sensors. I hope that you have understood the basic working principles behind these level sensors. In the next video, I am going to talk about various devices that are contactless in nature and are in fact much more useful in industries for level measurement. Thank you and take care.